Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter chemical bonding. In this session we are going to see about bond parameters. Okay, let us see about bond parameters, about these covalent compounds. Covalent bonds can be characterized on the basis of several bond parameters such as bond length, bond angle, bond order and bond energy. This bond energy is also known as bond enthalpy. These bond parameters offer insight into the stability of chemical compound and the strength of the chemical bond holding its atoms together. So we can understand about these two, that is the stability of the bond, how strong the covalent bond formed between the atoms, and the strength, the energy of that bond also can be understood by using these bond parameters. Now let us see about these bond parameters one by one. First among them is bond length. The equilibrium distance between the nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms is defined as bond length or bond distance. Suppose these two are the atoms which are connected or bonded with covalent bonding. Now the distance between the nuclei of these two atoms, this distance is called bond length or bond distance. So this can be calculated by knowing the atomic radii of these two atoms. Suppose here R1 is the atomic radius of this atom and R2 is the atomic radius of this atom. Now R1 plus R2, this is nothing but the distance between the nuclei of these two atoms, is taken as bond length or bond order. Bond length is usually expressed in angstrom units or picometers. Yes, as we are telling here, this bond length is the distance between the nuclei. As it is a distance, it can be calculated or expressed in terms of meters, centimeters, millimeters and even angstroms and picometers. But here these bond lengths or bond distances are micro quantities, very small quantities, because atoms are very small. That's why these are usually expressed in terms of angstrom units or picometers. Here we know 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meters, or if you take 1 picometer, which is equal to 10 to the power of minus 12 meters. So in the problems while calculations they make you in other units also. By using this conversion we can convert them into required units. Okay. In an ionic compound, the bond length is the sum of the ionic radii of positive and negative ions in a crystal. So in terms of, you take ionic compounds are formed by the ions of opposite charges, isn't it? Then the ionic radius is expressed in terms of the distance between the, or the sum of the ionic radii of positive and negative ions, that is taken as the bond distance or bond length. But in case of covalent compounds, the bond length is equal to the sum of the covalent radii of the atoms constituting the bond. So when two atoms are combined with covalent bonding, that is by sharing of a pair of electrons between them, a pair or more than one pair of electrons, then there the bond length is expressed in terms of sum of the covalent radii of these two atoms. So this can be taken as bond distance or bond length. This will be the sum of the covalent radii of these two atoms. Okay. Bond length depends upon the size of the atoms and the nature of the bond also. How it is, let us see here. Okay. A bond length depends upon the size of the atoms participating in the covalent bonding, and also it depends upon the nature of the bond. Let us see how it is. Bond length increases with the increase in size of the atoms which are participating in the covalent bonding. For example, bond length of hydrogen halides are in the order Hi, HBr, HCl and HCl. Why? Because if you observe the halogen atoms combined with the hydrogen in these molecules, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, these we call as halogens. So these compounds are called now hydrogen halides. Now here these all are belonging to same group, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So in a group from top to bottom atomic size increases. So out of these all, iodine is the one with the higher greater size and fluorine is having lowest size. So when the atoms are with the bigger size, suppose an atom is like this, one more atom also like this. If you observe the distance between the nuclei of these two atoms, now it is considered as the bond distance. If we consider two small atoms with a smaller size, then what happens? The bond distance between these two will be very small compared to this. So as the size of the atoms participating in the covalent bond increases, bond length also increases. That is why here the bond length in hydrogen iodide is greater than the remaining all, like hydrogen fluoride, because here the size of iodine is much greater than the remaining all. If we compare with the fluorine, fluorine has the smallest size among these all. So as size decreases, bond length decreases. Okay. One more point we told. The bond length decreases with the multiplicity of bonds. Multiplicity means formation of more than one covalent bond between the two atoms. So that happens by sharing more than one pair of electrons. If two atoms they share one pair of electrons between them, then they form a single covalent bond. If the same two atoms, if they share more than one pair of electrons, suppose those two atoms if they are sharing two pairs of electrons, then the bond formed is called a multiple bond, or to say clear, it is called a double bond. Often some atoms they share three pairs of electrons also between them, then the bond formed is called triple bond. So these double bonds and triple bonds are called multiple bonds in common. Okay, as the multiplicity of bonds increases between the atoms, those atoms will be held strongly than the single bond. So as number of bonds increasing, atoms will be held very strongly so that they come close a little. But what happens? As they are coming close each other, bond distance decreases. So that is told here. Bond length decreases with the multiplicity of bonds. For example, bond length of CC bond means a carbon single bond carbon bond is 154 picometers, whereas that of carbon double bond carbon bond length is 134 picometers. If you observe here, as the number of bonds increasing between these two carbons, carbon atoms come close each other as strong forces are created between them by the sharing of two pairs of electrons. So here the distance between the two carbon atoms decreases when compared to these single bond carbon atoms. So as atoms coming close each other, bond length decreases. So this happens as the multiplicity of bonds increases. Okay, the bond length of carbon-carbon bonds are in this order. So as the number of bonds between the carbon atoms increasing, both the carbon atoms comes close each other. Hence, bond distance decreases. If you observe here, these two carbons are having only single bond between them. So carbon-carbon single bond distance is 1.54 angstroms. The same two carbon atoms, if they share two pairs of electrons and if they form a double bond, then carbon atoms will be held with the strong forces when compared to this. Hence, they come much closer than this. That's why bond length decreased. In the case of carbon triple bond carbon, both the carbon atoms they are sharing three pairs of electrons, and hence they are held with much more stronger bond electric forces, and hence both the atoms come closer than in this case. That is why bond length decreased. So from this we can say, as the number of bonds increased between the two atoms, bond length decreases. That means as the multiplicity of bonds increases between two atoms, bond length decreases, simply to say. Okay, these two are the factors which are affecting the bond length. One is the size of the atoms. as the size of the atoms increases, bond distance increases. And one more, as the multiplicity of bonds increases between two atoms, bond length decreases. Okay. Next property or parameter is bond angle. The angle that is formed between two adjacent atoms bonded to the central atom in a molecule is called bond angle. Suppose if you say in the water molecule the central atom is oxygen, to that two hydrogen atoms are connected with covalent bonds. Now the angle created between these two bonds with respect of central atom is called bond angle. The angle formed between the adjacent atoms connected to the central atom in a molecule is called bond angle. We know covalent bonds are formed by overlapping of atomic orbitals. Due to directional character of these atomic orbitals, the covalent bonds are in a molecule are oriented in specific directions. So as these covalent bonds are formed because of the overlapping of atomic orbitals. We know these atomic orbitals are directional in character. Due to this, covalent bonds in a molecule are oriented in specific directions in a molecule. Thus, the bond angle in a molecule is defined as the average angle between the lines representing the orbitals containing bonded electrons. Suppose here if you see the water molecule itself, the s orbital of hydrogen and p orbital of oxygen, these two are overlapped here for the formation of this covalent bond. So these two are having a specific direction in this direction, and here also in the same way these two are having this direction. We know covalent bonds are directional. So these lines are representing the direction of the overlapped atomic orbitals. Now between the angle created between these lines which are representing covalent bonding is called bond angle. Okay. Bond angle is generally expressed in degrees, minutes and seconds. For example, HCH bond angle in methane. We know methane molecular formula CH4. In this, if you see the bond angle between any hydrogen carbon hydrogen bonds, HCH bond angle we call this. So here also you can say the same, HCH or HCH or HC. In any direction if you observe, the bond angle will be 109 degrees 28 minutes. So it is pronounced as 109 degrees 28 minutes. For every degree there are 60 minutes, and for every minute there are 60 seconds in this. Okay. Now the bond angle in methane molecule is expressed as 109 degrees 28 minutes. Similarly, fluorine boron fluorine bond angle, FBF bond angle in boron trifluoride molecule is 120 degrees, and the HNH means in methane in ammonia molecule the bond angle is 107 degrees. Okay, in this way bond angle representing the average angle between the two covalently bonded atoms which are connected to the central atom. Okay. Now let us say one more parameter, that is bond order. The bond order of a covalent bond is the total number of covalently bonded electron pairs between two atoms in a molecule. So the number of covalently bonded electron pairs gives its bond order. The number of electron pairs shared between two atoms in a molecule representing the bond order of that bond. It can be found by drawing the Lewis structures of the molecules and counting the total number of electron pairs between the atoms in that question. Okay, by observing the Lewis dot structures we can understand how many electron pairs are shared between two atoms in the molecule formation. That number of electron pairs shared gives the bond order of that bond. For example, if you say single bond have a bond order 1, that means in single bonded molecule like a hydrogen, if you observe H2 molecule, here both the hydrogen atoms sharing a pair of electrons, that means single pair of electrons are shared. As number of electron pairs shared between these two atoms is 1, the bond order of this molecule is said to be 1. In the same way, if you see bond order of double bonds, it is 2. For example, if we say oxygen molecule, in the oxygen molecule we know both the oxygen atoms, they are sharing two pairs of electrons between them. As two pairs of electrons are shared, it gives its bond order as 2. In the similar way, if you say triple bonds have a bond order of 3. Example, we can say nitrogen molecule. In nitrogen molecule, both the nitrogen atoms, they are sharing 3 pairs of electrons between them, and thus the bond order of this molecule is 3. Okay, as the number of electron pairs shared between two atoms gives its bond order. Let us see some more examples. The bond order of carbon hydrogen bond in C2H2. C2H2 means it is simply ethine. Chemically, as per IUPAC system rules, it is called ethine. Commonly, it is known as acetylene. It is the molecular structure of this molecule acetylene. In this, if you observe, between the carbon and hydrogen, there is sharing of a pair of electrons. That means formation of a single covalent bond. That represents its bond order as 1. Whereas if you see the bond in between the two carbon atoms, CC bond, there between two carbon atoms there is sharing of 3 pairs of electrons, and hence resulted in the formation of a triple bond. As 3 pairs of electrons shared between these two atoms, here the bond order is considered as 3. Again, if you see between these two, carbon and hydrogen, there is only one covalent bond, that means single covalent bond, which we can say as sharing of a single pair of electrons, results in its bond order as 1. Okay, let us see one more molecule. The bond order of oxygen molecule, that is oxygen bond, is 2, because in oxygen molecule both the oxygen atoms, they are sharing 2 pairs of electrons between them, hence we can say bond order as 2. Another molecule, carbon monoxide molecule. In a carbon monoxide molecule, the carbon oxygen bond has a bond order of 3, because here they are sharing 3 pairs of electrons. You might have learned how this carbon monoxide molecule is formed. First, carbon and oxygen, both they share 2 pairs of electrons, and thus oxygen will get octet configuration, but still carbon needs 1 more electron, 2 more electrons. Then what happens? Oxygen donates its pair of electrons with a dative bond formation, but finally it represents like a triple bond. No difference between the dative bond and covalent bond once after the bond formation. That's why it is represented like this as a triple bond. By this, but it does not represent here carbon is sharing its 3 electrons. Only 2 electrons are shared from the side of carbon. Here in this bond formation, both the electrons are from oxygen side. We can say represented like this, dative bond formation. Anyhow, between carbon and oxygen here, 3 pairs of electrons are shared. Hence its bond order is 3. Okay, that is about bond order. Now let us see another bond parameter, bond energy. The amount of energy required to break 1 mole of diatomic molecules in the gaseous state into their free constraint atoms is called bond energy. How it is defined here? Suppose if we take 1 mole of gaseous diatomic molecules like H2, there to break all the molecules into respective atoms, means to break the bonds between the atoms and molecules, the energy required here, it is called bond energy. It can be defined as the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of diatomic molecules in the gaseous state into their respective atoms or into their free constraint atoms is called bond energy. As it is the energy, it is also called bond enthalpy or bond strength. Okay, this bond energy is also called as bond enthalpy or bond strength. As we are telling, this is the energy required. It can be expressed in kilojoules, and it is defined as the energy required to break 1 mole of molecules into respective atoms. It is having units as kilojoules per mole. that represents the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of molecules into respective atoms. Okay, that is why its units are kilojoules per mole. For example, if you say chlorine molecule, so in the chlorine molecule, it is in the gaseous state and it is diatomic molecular gas. Now, to break 1 mole of chlorine molecules into respective chlorine atoms, it requires 242 kilojoules of energy. That's why bond energy of chlorine gas is said to be 242 kilojoules per mole. So this 242 kilojoules per mole represents the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of chlorine molecules in the gaseous state into respective chlorine atoms, individual chlorine atoms. That is defined as bond energy or bond enthalpy. The factors affecting this bond energy. One of them is the strength of a chemical bond is directly proportional to the amount of energy required to break it. Therefore, bond energy is inversely proportional to the bond length. Okay? As a bond length increases, bond energy decreases. Why? Because as the bond distance increases, bond length increases, atoms will be so far from each other. The nuclei of both the atoms will be so far from each other, and hence attraction decreases. If there is less attraction, they can be separated easily by supplying small quantity of energy itself. That is why the longer the bonds have, lower bond energies. Okay, longer bonds have lower bond energies. If the atoms are held together strongly closer, then the separation of those atoms into constrained separate atoms requires more and more energy. That means bond energy will be greater if bond distance is less. That's why it told here bond energy is inversely proportional to bond length. As bond length increases, bond energy decreases. That means as bond length increases, separation of those atoms requires less amount of energy only. Separation becomes easy. If the atoms are close to each other, that means bond length is very less, then they require large amount of energy to be separated into respective atoms. Means bond energy is greater in that case. Okay. One more. This bond energy is directly proportional to the bond order. Bond order means what we told, the number of bonds between two atoms. Simply to say the number of electron pairs shared between two atoms is its bond order. As the number of bonds increases between two atoms, those two atoms will be held strongly with electrostatic forces. And hence the separation of those two atoms into individual atoms requires more energy. That's why it is told here bond energy is directly proportional to the bond order. That is, multiple bonds have high bond energies. As the number of bonds between the atoms increases, bond energy increases. Okay. And this bond energy is inversely proportional to atomic radii, nothing but size of the atoms participating in the bond formation. Because as the size of the atoms increases, bond length automatically increases. If bond length increases, the attraction between those two atoms decreases a little, and hence they can be separated easily. This is atomic radius is directly proportional to bond length, isn't it? So as atomic size or atomic radii of the atoms participating in the covalent bond, if it is increases, automatically bond length increases. As bond length increases, the energy required to separate those two atoms also decreases. It decreases. That's why it is given here. Bond energy is inversely proportional to the atomic radii of the atoms participating in the covalent bond formation. Okay. These are the factors which are affecting bond energy. So one, it is bond length. It is inversely proportional to bond energy. If bond length increases, bond energy decreases. And one more, multiplicity of bonds. That is nothing but bond order. Bond order is directly proportional. As bond order increases, bond energy increases. Okay. Next one, size, which is just like the bond length. As atomic radius or atomic size increases, for the atoms participating in the covalent bond, bond energy decreases. So bond energy is inversely proportional to atomic radii or atomic size. Okay, these are the factors affecting bond energy. Okay, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos. So you can visit our website aimstoday.in for other information regarding online classes, quizzes, live worksheets, do-it-yourself activities, English classes, and even for coding classes also.